Absolutely. Learning from failures is such a valuable topic. Sure thing. Feel free to ask any questions you have, and I'll do my best to help you out and dive into those lessons from setbacks.
My first question is, what does learning from failure personally means to you?
That's a great starting question. For me, learning from failure means seeing setbacks as opportunities for growth. It's about reflecting on what went wrong, understanding the lessons, and then using that knowledge to improve and move forward with more wisdom and resilience. How about you? What does it mean to you personally?
Next question is, can you share a failure that ended up shaping your success later on?
Absolutely. I'd say one of the most common examples is when someone faced a big, like a project that didn't go as planned, taught them crucial skills, or led them to pivot in a new direction. For example, this venture might eventually lead someone to discover a passion or a new career path. Do you have any personal experience?
Why do you think many people fear failures instead of embracing it as a teacher?
Yeah, that's such an interesting question. I think a failure because of societal pressures, the fear of judgment, and the anxiety of not meeting expectations. There's also that instinct to protect oneself from disappointment, even failure's emotional impact. But when we shift and see failure as a stepping stone, it definitely becomes a lot less intimidating.
How can someone reframe a failure to see it as an opportunity for growth?
One great way is to start by reflecting on what specifically went wrong and identifying the lessons hidden within that experience. It helps to keep a growth mindset, meaning that challenges are opportunities to learn and improve. Another strategy is to focus on the progress made rather than the setback itself, and also feedback from others to gain new perspectives. Over time, it becomes easier to embrace those failures as stepping stones.
What is the first step you take after experiencing a major setback?
I think the first step is usually to give yourself a bit of space and time to process the emotions involved, whether that's disappointment, frustration, or even confusion. After that, it's helpful to reflect objectively on what happened, maybe even journaling or talking it out with someone you trust. Once you have that clarity, you can identify the key lessons and start planning.
How to stay motivated when things don't go as planned?
Staying motivated can definitely be tough. One approach is to keep your bigger vision in mind and remind yourself of your long-term goals. It also helps to break things down into small, manageable steps so that you can celebrate small wins along the way. Surrounding yourself with supportive people and maintaining a positive mindset, even in the face of setbacks, really makes a difference. Of course, taking care of yourself, like getting enough rest, practicing self-compassion, helps that motivation up.
In your opinion, what separates people who grow from failure from those who give up?
I think a big factor is mindset. People who grow from failure tend to embrace a growth mindset, viewing setbacks as temporary and as learning opportunities. They also tend to be resilient, persistent, and open to their approach. On the other hand, those who give up might focus more on the negative aspects, internalize the failure, and see it as a reflection of their abilities rather than an opportunity to learn. Support systems, self-commitment, a willingness to adapt also play a huge role.
How can failure build reliance and mental strength?
Failure often pushes us out of our comfort zones. And in that process, we develop resilience by learning how to bounce back from setbacks. It teaches us perseverance, helps us to adapt to new situations, and strengthens our problem solving skills. Over time, each failure kind of builds our mental toughness, making us more confident and better equipped to handle future challenges. It's all about viewing each setback as a stepping stone to greater strength.
My next question is, what role does mindset play in turning a setback into an opportunity?
Mindset plays a huge role. A growth mindset, for instance, allows you to see setbacks as temporary and as valuable learning experiences rather than as reflections of your abilities. It helps you stay motivated, be more resilient, and remain open to adapting your strategies. On the other hand, a fixed mindset can lead to discouragement and giving up because it focuses more on limitations. Ultimately, having the right mind really transform how we approach challenges and turn them into stepping stones for grace.
How can leaders or mentors help others see the value in failure?
Leaders and mentors can really help by creating a supportive environment where failure is seen as a natural part of the learning process. They can share their own experiences of failure, highlighting the lessons they learned and how it shaped their success, providing constructive feedback, encouraging reflection, and celebrating the effort rather than just the outcome can also make a big difference. Ultimately, fostering a culture where mistakes are seen as stepping stones helps individuals build confidence and resilience.
What are some common mistakes people make when responding to failure?
Yeah, definitely. Some concepts include taking failure too personally and seeing it as a reflection of their abilities rather than just an event. Another mistake is ignoring the lessons that failure can teach and instead just focusing on the negative emotions. Sometimes people also give up too quickly, lacking the persistence to try again or adjust their approach. Another common pitfall is not seeking feedback or support from others, which can really limit growth. And finally, sometimes people avoid taking risks in the future because they fear repeating the same mistakes, which can hinder their progress.
How do you reflect on a failure to extract meaningful lessons from it?
Reflecting on failure usually starts with being honest with yourself about what happened, looking at the situation objectively without self judgment. It helps to ask yourself specific questions like what went well, what didn't, and what could be improved. It's also valuable to consider different perspectives, maybe by seeking others, writing things down in a journal can help you process your thoughts and pinpoint patterns. Over time, this reflection helps you turn those experiences into actionable insights, making you more prepared and resilient for the future.
Have you ever discovered an unexpected opportunity because something failed?
Absolutely, that happens quite often. For example, sometimes when a project doesn't go as planned, it can open doors to new directions or lead to discovering new strengths and skills that you didn't realize you had. It can also lead to networking opportunities like meeting new people who can offer valuable insights or collaborations. Often, what seems like a setback at first can actually steer you toward something that you hadn't considered before.
What advice would you give to someone
I'd say the best
who feels stuck after a major appointment?
I'd say the best advice is to allow yourself to feel those emotions, but also to take small intentional steps forward. It's important to reflect on what you've learned, seek support from people you trust, and be patient with yourself. Also, exploring new possibilities and staying open to different paths can really help you find your way forward.
Is lastly summary about this topic.
Absolutely. In summary, learning from failure is all about embracing setbacks as opportunities for growth. It involves cultivating a growth mindset, reflecting honestly on what went wrong, using those lessons to adapt and improve. Over time, this approach builds resilience, mental strength, and confidence, turning obstacles into stepping stones for future success. Ultimately, it's about viewing each setback as a